Well, uh, I think it's a story that you constantly amaze yourself of how much anxiety you build up when you're trying to do something new. And it was a trend I noticed just by journaling, right? You know, at the end of a workday, writing about how I was so nervous and anxious about a meeting that I was going, because I was going to meet some big bosses and high level managers from a different department. And then I reflected and I realized that upon attending the meeting, whatever that I feared did not come to pass. I was fearful of the fact that I was unable to answer their questions. I was going to embarrass myself. So I put a note in my journal. And the next time, if I had a big speech I had to give in Toastmasters for a contest, for example, and of course the anxiety comes back and I wrote it down again. So that's one thing that I've started to realize. And now I immediately sort of can tell my that negative thought that you were referring to earlier, that hey, you know what, you've come to me before. Every single time in the past you've come to me, and it turns out to be, it wasn't bad as what you said. So I hear you, I understand that you're going to be there. You're a safety mechanism, because that's how our brain works. A lot of the things that kick in sometimes are still because the brains are still pretty primitive, and they are there for a reason, to keep us safe. But we ultimately, the rational part of the brain has to take charge and also understand that hey, you know what. And then one of the anchoring beliefs I've always asked myself whenever I'm facing a difficulty is, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Mm.
I mean, really, what is the very worst thing that can happen? And when you start to think about it, the worst thing, I mean, okay, so you embarrass yourself, maybe you couldn't answer some questions in front of big shots or the audience, or you forgot your speech, what you're about to say. Okay, yeah, on the day you might feel bad, you might feel down, but look back at it, 3 months later, 3 years later, 10 years later, it's like it's just another day. You're still alive. So it's we the that part of our brain tends to overcome whatever emotions that we have, and that unfortunately then causes us to not be as effective in whatever task that we're going to do. So I've come to realize that, that the next challenge that's going to come is just a story that has been repeated time and time again, and it's just playing a video game at the next level, right? Because you've done level 20, you decide to stay at level 20, yeah, but you've already passed it. So why didn't you go to level 21? It's harder, it's more difficult, and maybe that's how I see life. It's just a video game. Every year is an a is a round, it's a game, it's a level. And life doesn't get easier, but you do it enough times, you reflect, you definitely can get better.
Yeah, it's